Yeah, that uphill drag, that left, right, tight turn, first half a lap. You know, we saw it in the first, the second MX2 moto there, Benoit Patorel taking a best ever Grand Prix finish, running top 5 most of the time. It's the crucial part, isn't it?
A lot of emphasis there. Look, Desal, just a 5-point gap over Tony Cairoli now. After Cairoli winning that first race, Desal picking up third only behind Max Nagel. He was disappointed, he was frustrated, but because of his 22nd position in qualifying, all the big hitters are down on the inside. Clement Desal was way out to the middle of the right-hand side of the gate, came out great, 5th or 6th position for what was a 22nd pick. He'll be looking to do the same again, if not better. But this guy here, number 2, Ryan Villopoto, didn't disappoint anybody, did he? And he was right there, right in the hunt.
This rider here, Max Nagel, sorry to cut across here, Paul, if he starts, takes the whole shot, then I think it's going to be difficult for anyone else to follow. I think the speed he had in the first moto just couldn't pass Tony Cairoli, who did a great job. The German, for me, is going to be a real potent threat in this second race.
Be interesting to see what Bobryshev can do, and also there, the number 21, Gauthier Paulin. But Tony Cairoli, all eyes here, firmly fixated on the 8-time world champion, Tony Cairoli. And look how far out here, number 2, Ryan Villopoto is. He's given himself plenty of breathing space away from any kind of carnage that might happen here. Not the best reaction there from Cairoli.
It's Nagel.
Nagel at the inside, number 12 it is. Koldenoff there in third. Oh, and Tony Cairoli trying to get into the rear wheel of the German already. Bit of background noise there going into the second turn. But it's Nagel from Cairoli, Koldenoff third, Searle fourth, Waters, Ferris, Villopoto seventh, Bengtson is eighth.
That's one of Husqvarna's, Paul.
Ferris is down.
Yeah.
So
Ferris got held up on the inside.
Yeah, Ferris losing that 6th place advantage. And also Frossard going down as well. So Frossard, he was also well placed. Villopoto 7th, Bengtson, Fevre, Desal 10th, Paulin 11th, Simpson 12th, Yamamoto, Guarnieri, Gonçalves, Philipparts, De Dijker, Van Horbik, Charlier, Bobryshev down in 20th. So this time, not everybody where they want to be.
We've almost got the same top 4 at the end of the first moto as we do, well, here at the start of the second moto as we did at the end, Paul. Glenn Koldenoff, the Rogue Suzuki there at the moment.
And he's got his teammate behind him, 2 riders back, Clement Desal, but Max Nagel, already a revelation in MXGP in 2015, 2 Grand Prix victories out of 3 under his belt, 3 moto wins as well.
Where's Evgeny Bobryshev?
20th position on the opening lap, just behind Christophe Charlier on that 24 MX Honda.
I'm not sure you'll get such a drastic switch from pole position to 20th place, Paul.
Just looking at the track conditions out there now, Adam, obviously you were with me in the MX2 race too. The sun has completely disappeared behind the mountains now, so actually visibility better for the riders now because they can see all the bumps, they can see the lines, the ruts, so it's a very even surface in which the riders are on now, so there shouldn't be any surprises apart from the water that's gone down in the track in the 20 minutes or so between races.
Tony Cairoli's got to keep a careful eye on the track, like you say, Paul, but also Max Nagel ahead of him as Desal looking to pass his brand mate.
Yeah, he'll be right the way down the inside, no problems whatsoever.
Oh, nicely done, Koldenoff. Todd Waters there on the other factory, Husqvarna just behind. That's probably one of his better starts of the season.
So over the line for the first time then, Max Nagel, fastest man on track, as you would expect, a 147.7. He's already 3.5 seconds clear of Cairoli. Villopoto, a great opening lap for the American, up to third. He was 7th at the first split, you know, coming out of the second corner, and he means business. But look at Desal as well. He's in 4th place. So once again, Nagel, Cairoli, Villopoto, Desal, the same 4 guys out on track, pushing for what could be a overall Grand Prix victory here at Pietramarata, MXGP of Trentino. Tony Cairoli, remember, hasn't won a Grand Prix since Lommel in Belgium, the penultimate round of 2014. So no win in Mexico. First 3 rounds is a lean spell for him. This is his 5th attempt at a Grand Prix. If he wins the second race here, of course, he will go on to win in front of his home fans. Otherwise, it's looking like a overall Grand Prix victory, the 3rd of the season for Max Nagel, but we've still got a long way to go.
Febvre just locking up, just trying to move through on the inside. There's probably more room there than it looked on the TV camera.
Todd Waters right in the mix of as well in 6th position. Febvre behind him, Paulin there. Searle dropped to 9th. Philipparts now 10th on the DP19 Racing Yamaha. We cannot rule out Ryan Villopoto. He looked more than happy and more than comfortable in race 1.
Paulin at the back of that previous shot, just trying a wider line on the hairpin, Paul, on the looser, kind of more fine soil there, just looking for more traction, trying to make up positions as early as he can in this moto. Tommy Searle just behind him. Great start for the Briton, back from injury.
Febvre parks it down the inside of Todd Waters and squeezes him on the face of the takeoff as well. Oh, the back end just getting a little bit leery on that 47 Red Bull Ice One Husqvarna. See how the riders are having to straighten up now to hit that wave section at the top of the hill.
Waters so close there.
Now he's going to turn left. And he's taking a lunge down the inside. Well, he had one thing on his mind there. He wasn't happy with the move from Romain Febvre. That had intent written all over it.
Yeah, Febvre got that downhill descent, you know, kind of wrong. He just lost the momentum he had when he passed through Waters, and Waters just took a nice fast line inside. Great action, but he didn't win him the position.
Well, so far, your prediction of if Max Nagel gets a start, I don't think anybody will see him. Cairoli is 5.5 seconds back. Villopoto, 7.1 seconds back of the leader, Max Nagel. De Salle, 8.8 seconds adrift at the moment. Koldenhoff is 5th, Febvre 6th, and Waters now 7th. Paulin 8th, Tommy Searle 9th, Van Hoorbeek. They are your top 10. Bobryshev, what a great couple of laps he's had, from 20th to 12th on the second of the HRC Hondas.
And he's gone with Van Hoorbeek, who is down there as well, Paul. So those two, like, really just hauling ass through the pack. But basically, Nagel's not even in the same picture, is he?
No.
If you look at the way, the points, if the way things stay as they are, then this rider here on the Factory Husqvarna is going to take his 3rd win out of 4 Grand Prix.
Yeah, and his 4th race win of the year as well.
And absolutely nobody would have predicted that at the start of the season. You would have predicted Max Nagel being contention for victory, surely, because he won, you know, the penultimate Grand Prix of the year, finished 2nd in Mexico as well. But, you know, we still have to see what he can do in this World Championship picture. But 3 potential victories out of the first 4 rounds, that doesn't get any better. I don't think it has for the German.
Starting to look tasty here, isn't it? 25 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Cairoli, well, of course, he would like to beat everybody here today. He would like to walk away with the first victory since Belgium in August 2014. But Ryan Villopoto would like a feather in the cap, wouldn't he? He'd like to beat Tony Cairoli at home in at least a race, maybe even in the Grand Prix as well. Let's see how it all pans out, but he's close. So the Monster Energy Kawasaki and the Red Bull KTM, mistake there from Cairoli. How much drive did that cost him? Here's a little bit of horsepower. Great to see the two Kawasaki and the Red Bull KTM garages side by side there. When the pit boards go out, the back end just getting a bit loose as well on that Kawasaki as he rode his luck a little bit through that right-hander, that final turn, Ryan Villopoto. But Nagel, 6.9, 7 seconds clear at the head of the field, constantly in the 45s.
Stating the obvious, but he's 2 seconds a lap faster than the riders we're looking at on screen at the moment. But Cairoli, for me, Paul, just hasn't really settled down at the moment. He's not really, doesn't look too smooth, he doesn't look too happy. Nothing like the rider we saw in the first moto.
Got his hands full, whichever way you look at it.
Yeah, the track is kind of changing as you would expect. I mean, it's kind of hard packed, but it does shift around a lot as well. A lot of braking bumps, a lot of strange bumps, you know, kind of pointy. One of the MX2 riders I spoke to just in the break saying it's probably one of the most difficult Grand Prix tracks of the year, which, you know, considering the kind of terrain we go to and some of the demands we find in different countries, that's saying something.
Well, Nagel making it look super easy at the moment. He's 7 seconds clear of this battle for second. Cairoli, Villopoto there, number 2, and the 25 of De Salle, who in both races, has to be said, has done a very good job of getting out the start from where he was on the grid. You know, to be in there challenging for these guys, he was the most frustrated and disappointed rider crossing the line in 3rd place in race 1.
He just said he just found it so difficult to pass. He said, if I'm going to pass, I need to hit somebody.
And Ryan Villopoto said exactly the same thing. He said, you know, the track really a little bit one line, and you kind of have to be a little bit careful, but at the same time, you know, stop short of saying.
I think you've got different lines to try, Paul, but in terms of passing, it's just, you know, your options are kind of limited because everybody's just so on the gas.
Well, Clemente's set out at the moment. If he stays where he is, he'll be tied on points, 38 with Ryan Villopoto. That'll be his first GP off of the podium. Second at the opening 3 Grand Prix, Qatar, Thailand and Argentina. Currently 4th overall at the moment, needs to find his way past Villopoto. Well, he just needs to get ahead of Villopoto because he's tied with him in points. Cairoli, he can't affect that situation because a win and a second potentially for Cairoli.
Cairoli needs to stay where he is and just hope something happens with Nagel. But like you say, Paul, the real battle for the overall positions in this Grand Prix between the Kawasaki and the Suzuki.
Well, it's already better. A mistake there from Villopoto. It's already better for Cairoli because a winner here in 2013 was 5th overall last year. That was his first race off the podium last year. And obviously openly stating that not his favourite race track of his, you know, of the Italian circuit. 6th and 4th here a year ago for Cairoli. So a win and a second, potentially, 2nd overall, tie of the lead. That's not a bad day for Cairoli.
I'd like to know really what his favourite Italian track is, because he's not a great fan of Maggiore either, where we go for the Grand Prix of Italy in June. Maybe Mantova, nice and sandy.
Maybe.
De Salle just looking for some, well, he's experimenting, isn't he? Just trying to see where he can get a couple of tenths closer to the Kawasaki behind. Glenn Koldenhoff running up in 5th place. It's only his 4th Grand Prix in the Premier class, so that's his best running order of the year so far. Febvre giving him some pressure
Replay
there
at the start. It wasn't the best jump initially from Tony, but
Desau here, right on the inside ball. I thought he was going to get held up and lose a wealth of positions. There he is. The 25 almost goes down.
Almost goes down, yeah. He did lose positions.
And there he's like held up.
I wonder if he got tagged there by Ryan Villopoto. You know, just obviously Ryan Villopoto was always ahead of him. Probably just caught the rear wheel of the Kawasaki as he went through that first turn. Either way, legs were off. But Cairoli suddenly found a turn of speed, and he's put a little bit of distance. Say a little bit of distance between him and Villopoto, and they both seem to be pulling clear of Desau at the moment. But we saw in the first race, Desau was backwards and forwards, and suddenly out of nowhere sprung a surprise attack on this kid here.
But Desau's had a bad lap there, 49.
Yeah.
Over 2 seconds slower, so 1 or 2 mistakes. Whoa, Villopoto just sliding into that bank.
Well, Nagel still banging in the 45s, 46s, 9 seconds clear of Cairoli. Villopoto now 10 seconds adrift. Desau 12 seconds back. Max Nagel continues to lead. Cairoli second, Villopoto third, Desau fourth. But what a great ride for this kid here, number 259, Glenn Koldenoff on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki Europe machine. He's in 5th ahead of Romain Febvre. Todd Waters on the Red Bull Ice One Husqvarna. That's him there, number 47. Gauthier Paulin, HRC, is 8th. Van Hoorbeek, Yamaha Factory Racing 9, and the Red Bull KTM of Searle is in 10th. Bobryshev now up to 11th, bringing Dodika with him. Got Philip Arts in 13th. Charlie A 14th, another rider that's working his way through from outside the top 20. Then we've got Guarneri, Simpson being pushed down to 16th, Gonçalves 17th, Bengtson, Lupino and Subaras in 20th place.
Paulin just having an unusual line coming over the tabletop there, Paul, hugging really the inside.
Goes to show as well, doesn't it, the importance of getting a start on race day. This kid was so fast yesterday. Gauthier Paulin in the qualifying race had his chance to lead the race, didn't quite have it. Didn't quite get there, he made that mistake, but he showed good speed yesterday, as did Cairoli and Desau and Nagel and, of course, Ryan Villopoto in that qualifying race, but just not happened for him on race day today, unfortunately.
It's a little bit of a different season for Gauthier Paulin, isn't it? First on the, the factory CFR 450R, but, he hasn't looked like he's going to win a Grand Prix so far, 4 rounds into 18, but then, he's been building up the points, 5th in the championship. He's by no means out of it.
Van Hoorbeek making his way onto the rear wheel as well.
That's a Suzuki, Koldenoff.
So Koldenoff then, out of 5th place on, lap 6. There's Romain Febvre, still continuing to impress. Even Ben Townley said so today when he was in for MXGP Race 1. He said, not being disrespectful, but he'd never really heard of him, despite the fact that he was 3rd in MX2 last year in the championship, and started asking around, and he likes what he's seen watching from the sidelines.
Just look at any kind of career profile on him, Paul, and he's just improved every year enormously in Grand Prix in the 4 years he's been doing it. So, when you look at a track record, he's got it. Villopoto now just looking at the back of Cairoli.
He got a nice line through that right-hander at the end of the wave section. He was doing that in the first race as well, getting on the fat part of the tyre, picking the front wheel up, and just using the back wheel there. Other riders are just fighting the bike a little bit, so he has good momentum going into that next left-hander, but he's got Cairoli right in his sights again at the bottom of the hill. Where's Desau? There he is, just flashing out, but these two are starting to pull clear of Desau just a little bit. Has he got something up his sleeve for a little bit later on in the race? Oh, a nervous look back for Tony Cairoli. Did it a couple of times in the qualifying race.
And Desau, as we said earlier, Paul, has got to keep touch with these two, otherwise he's off the podium for the first time this season.
In terms of bragging rights and all the rest of it, Ryan Villopoto could actually pass Tony Cairoli and take 2nd and see if he can do anything about Max Nagel, which at the moment, 11 seconds, that's a big ask for even Cairoli, Villopoto or Desau to try and claw back that deficit. But it will be a bragging rights in the fact that he's passed Tony on home soil, beating him in the race. But Tony Cairoli, 47 points, Ryan Villopoto, 38. So Cairoli will drop to 45. Villopoto will move up to 40 points, so it won't affect Cairoli's standing in the championship, but he can't afford to lose points to Max Nagel either in a championship chase.
Well, bearing a problem or a mistake for Nagel, Paul, he's in race control mode, 11 seconds. Half.
Van Hoorbeek and Waters. Waters on the rough end, is he?
Going to get a tap there from Van Hoorbeek. Oh, he's going to save it.
Oh, that's into the final corner. That was a hard hit into the bank there.
No space.
No space, no prisoners there from Van Hoorbeek. That's the kind of fight we want to see, though, from him, isn't it? You know, the kind of desire that got him to, what, 11 podiums consecutively last year, 12 in total, en route to second in the MXGP World title race last year.
And then Horbick, first lap in 20th position, now up to 6th, passing Waters. So he's riding through some frustration there, isn't he? And now just his teammate ahead of him, but it's a healthy gap. It's 7 seconds he's got to work on. There is Todd Waters.
No, that's Bututso, the back marker, 173. Wildcard this weekend. Nagel just coming through to lap him.
And Nagel, like I was saying earlier, just in race control mode, he just has to control that distance now. 11 seconds over Tony Cairoli.
Interesting what he said at the Husqvarna press conference yesterday, wasn't it? You know, the launch of the 2016 race bike that Tonkoff debuted this weekend. They asked him about qualifying, 6th, 7th. He wasn't too fussed about it, was he? And said it would be better today. They actually changed some settings as Cairoli now coming under intense pressure from number 2, Ryan Villopoto.
This would be good. I mean, Villopoto can pass him if he can find a place to pass him. What's Cairoli going to respond with? And if he responds, then just listen to the crowd. The Geisha fan club dispersing, maybe already to the bar. And Nagel still keeping that 11-second gap. Desau just dropping off slightly. That was a better lap from Desau, 47.1. Same speed as these two.
Yeah.
So he's keeping touch with them, isn't he?
The interesting thing will be if Desau is quicker than Cairoli, which that time around a 47.7 and a 47.1, 6 tenths in it, that will be enough to bring him back onto the rear wheel of Ryan Villopoto. Then we will have a 3-way scrap for second place, and it will be any which way, won't it, between these guys? Nagel out of the equation, 11.7 seconds clear. You watch Villopoto's line here at the end of the wave section. Might have just got offline slightly there.
With on the previous straight, it was a nice drive right up towards the inside. If he gets closer to Cairoli, you know, there might be a possible block pass in place on the next lap. But Cairoli, you know, just from throwing that 350 SXF around superbly on the jumps before.
Ooh, Desau right back in it. All of a sudden, Tony Cairoli is holding up.
Villopoto setting his best lap of the moto on the last one. So really pushing. There's the points. You can see Nagel and Cairoli tied for victory.
And that's how tight the championship will be. 171, 170. Desau, Nagel, Cairoli. So it'll be 1 point going into Valkenswaard in a week's time if it stays like this. And Ryan Villopoto still doubling the last 2 at the top of the hill. Desau looking for a move down the inside as Bututso gets out of the way, or tries to. Couldn't go anywhere, and that's a steep drop the other side of there. He didn't want to be going straight on there, that's for sure.
I think he was just ambush there. He didn't know anything about it, did he?
So 9 laps complete. Nagel 12.5 seconds clear of Cairoli, and Villopoto and Desau right there where he wants to be. Boot hanging off him on that left side there.
Villopoto just loving that real outside line, banging off the banking to come across there.
To the inside.
But Desau's trying some different stuff. You know, it's worked for him in the last lap.
Taking a breather. He's almost doing a Cairoli, isn't he? So almost doing a Cairoli, just sort of like regrouping and having another bite of the cherry.
Yeah.
In years gone by, Tony Cairoli, I mean. And he's not... And that, you know what, that is also the sign of confidence from Clément Desau. Championship leader, knows he can, you know, win a race now as well, as is proof in Argentina. And here he is. Again, that concertina effect. He's dropped back off of these two guys, giving himself a bit of breathing space. A mistake from Villopoto, and Desau might go through. Might not be messy, or it might not be clean, but
he recovered there, didn't he?
He did.
Second part of the section, a little bit of throttle recovery. And Van Horbeek's down to 9th, Paul, so he's made a mistake somewhere. Todd Waters back up to 7th.
Oh, hard down the inside, Desau. Villopoto responds and takes him up the bank. So the gloves are off here.
Watch on the inside here, Paul. He's going to come up.
He's going to go straight. He's not thinking about turning right, is he? Great display of action here from Desau, and Ryan Villopoto letting Cairoli off the hook as well as he thinks about pulling away in second position, and he has. He's decided to do one. He will know something's going on behind him. Desau looking to go through here as well at the bottom into this left-hander. Oh, he tried it before. Not quite close enough. Will he get the power down on that Suzuki at the end of the straight? Oh!
No! It did a touch.
No, Villopoto, whiskey throttle, wheeled all the way across, and he is down, he's hurt. He just came over the jump, he wheeled down the straight, and the back end, watch this.
He's struggling, something dislocated there.
Front end came up on him, veered off into the path. Oh, coccyx, and then, up onto his feet. Oh, big crash for Ryan Villopoto. just as we went from one camera angle to the other, I saw the front end coming up. I wasn't sure if they did touch, but from there, he was just a passenger on that Kawasaki. The back end just dug in and came up.
Do you think there, just for a fraction of a second, Paul, he was aware of the sound next to him, just like pinned it, and absolutely didn't have his, just wasn't in the right place on the bike to keep it over those bumps? It's just a strange crash, isn't it? You just never really sort of see those sort of things.
I think he definitely tried to protect the line, knowing that Dessau was probably there. You know, they'd had a little bit of history on the uphill half a lap before that we saw Dessau straddling the bank. Oh! Dessau's out! Dessau goes down, and was that Fevre? Fevre's gone through, who was already right there as well.
You saw that bump, didn't you? You saw it, he just hit it and took him away.
So all kinds of craziness going on again, just like the qualifying race. Catches the big bump here. Well, this is the Villopoto. So look, he tries to defend and then just gets traction, lands on the coccyx. The bike bounces into Dessau, who runs over the front wheel as Villopoto goes cartwheeling. And then watch this one here from Dessau coming in, big hole. Now, just caught a rock there, and then the front brake was on. He wasn't online, and that gives you some indication as well as to how steep that downhill is into that bottom left-hand corner.
He just didn't have anything on the front wheel there, did he? Goodbye.
Nothing at all. Ryan Villopoto, good to see him up and walking away, but Thierry Chizat-Sazzoni, the team owner there, just shepherding him on along, and his dad as well.
I'm not sure if you'll see a stranger crash this year in MXGP.
Two big moments in MXGP Race 2. Ryan Villopoto and Clément Dessau in separate incidents, half a lap apart. So Nagel leads then, 15 seconds clear of Cairoli. Fevre is now in third. Dessau fourth, Paulin fifth. Bobryshev is in sixth place.
That was a big, big moment for Clément Dessau as well, Paul. He picked up the bike, kept it running. He's kept in fourth position. It's still going to keep him for third on the podium if we stay the way we are, and crucially in lead of the World Championship standings.
Well, I think we'll just see if that refreshes itself in a moment for the World Championship standings, but
he's already come across the line though. So,
okay.
And here's Paulin. Where's he suddenly emerged?
Fifth. So Nagel, Cairoli, Fevre, Dessau, Paulin, Bobryshev, Van Horbeke 7, Waters 8, Tadika 9, Philipparts 10. Guarneri 11th, Simpson now up into 12th at the expense of somebody.
February, is that Cairoli?
But Nagel, what a great day he's having as well. Looking on the verge of picking up his third Grand Prix victory in 4 rounds. 8.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Romain Fevre, Kawasaki, Yamaha Factory Racing.
There's a small bit of green on that bike, Paul. Easy mistake to make. Wow, February, he's just been the standout rookie of MXGP this year, hasn't he? We've just seen him in the top 5 kind of consistently.
This would be a nice scalp for him as well, wouldn't it? Round 4, taking one from Tony.
No, he's just not. Oh, he got stuck in the rut there. Has he stalled it? I think he stalled it.
No, he's there.
We did in the first moto coming up here.
But he has got electric start on that Yamaha, hasn't he? So it wouldn't have been the end of the world knowing that the bike would have started, but it would have cost him a lot of time. He would have struggled to find himself back on the rear wheel in the remaining 8 minutes plus 2 laps.
He's already finished in the top 3 so far in MXGP this year.
Yes, he has.
On that factory Yamaha, 4th Grand Prix, of course, only in this Premier class. Romain Fevre, winner of the State of Goa's Grand Prix in MX2 last year. Took his first podiums in Grand Prix only the season before.
He'll be up to 4th place in the championship. He'll be up to 4th in the championship. He was 6th before we came here. Yeah, 3rd and a 4th in Thailand, 8th and a 6th in Argentina.
And Dessau not really having any kind of answer. I think that, understandably, it's taken him a little while just to regroup and get over that crash. He certainly doesn't want to be hitting the corners maybe with the same kind of intensity. We'd just be winding it down, risk control.
Concentrate and breathe. The message there for Romain Fevre. Or it was aimed at, didn't see whose board it was actually, I just saw Fevre on there, so that was maybe, yeah, it was Fevre's pit board.
1 point again, just in the top 3 of the World Championship, Cairoli.
So, less than 7 minutes to go. Tony Cairoli doing what Cairoli does best, picking up points on bad days. Cairoli picking up points on bad days. If you can count a win and a potential second and second overall in your home Grand Prix as a bad day, that's not a bad day to have, is it? A bad day.
The worst. We've had a crazy 2 laps of madness here, haven't we, Paul?
We have,
We've
yeah.
lost Clement Dessau and, you know, Ryan Villopoto, 2 accidents. Well, Villopoto's out of the motor. He's gone.
Yeah. And that was shaping up to be one heck of a grandstand finale as well, wasn't it? Similar to what we had in race 1, the same 4 guys, Nagel, Cairoli, Dessau, Villopoto, all battling a moment of, well, not a moment of madness, but just madness in the actual...
The drama of it.
The drama and the way in which Villopoto crashed, just looping out down past pit lane, landing on his coccyx and picking himself up to walk away. Good to see him walking away, but obviously blew the race apart. And then half a lap later, Dessau going out at the bottom of one of these hills over here, losing the front end and well, losing a chance potentially at, you know, picking up a possible Grand Prix victory, depending on how those guys around him would have fared. But cannot take anything away from Nagel at all.
He was, I wouldn't say anonymous, but he wasn't really in the mix yesterday during qualification. Again, in the Husqvarna press conference, he said, we took a direction with the bike and it didn't work. Now we're going to go back the other way.
Yeah.
And to win by almost 20 seconds at this track, that's a major statement for me. And to, you know, to potentially win 3 Grand Prix out of the first 4 rounds, Paul, then, you know, there's no more talk of, you know, Max Nagel being, you know, not being a championship contender.
Right, well, as we look at Max Nagel, almost 20 seconds clear, let's take a look at those crashes again. Slightly different angle.
He knows Dessau's there, look.
And that was Villopoto. Dessau almost got collected there by the wayward Kawasaki.
It's almost like a video game, isn't it? You know, those strange... He was herding there for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah. But no such dramas for this guy.
Yet we've still got 4 minutes and 2 laps to go in this moto. Will we get a replay of the Dessau accident, because he just hit that bump? The front wheel was up. The front wheel was up when he was already tipping into the turn.
4th overall here last year, Max Nagel.
I'm sure he must be one of those kind of crashes a rider never really thinks about, Paul, until it happens. You know, just hitting that bump. Usually you just commit to the turn, and something unexpected just catches you down in half a second. Bobryshev, good comeback. You called it earlier on, now up to 6th.
And right onto the rear wheel of his teammate as well. He's come from 20th, where Paulhan was, what, around about 10th? 11th, something like that. So he's definitely got the bit between his teeth. Got a good setting on the bike.
What's happened to the Hondas? You know, yesterday I'd say it was their strongest Grand Prix, looking good for a podium finish. It's not going to happen here today. Paulhan currently 5th overall and Bobryshev 7th.
Shows the importance of start style on race day when it matters.
Exactly, that must be it. Just getting our way from the line. I'm sure I know what they're going to be doing in the week before Valkenswaard.
And I wonder if some of the problems that Max Nagel, well, actually no, because he made a good start in the qualifying, but just went backwards. He wasn't in a hurry to do anything. He said, didn't he? Didn't want to risk anything in qualifying. But Roman Febvre is back onto the rear wheel of Tony Cairoli again after a couple of laps in a little bit of private space. Certainly taking the challenge to Tony Cairoli with the 2 laps on the end of this normal race distance. About 5 minutes or so to go.
Febvre, another rider after yesterday, not too happy, said he needs to work on the bike a little bit. I think they just changed the rear tyre in the end, looking for some more traction, but this is a fantastic race. He's profited from, you know, the crashes to Clement Dessau and Ryan Villopoto, but 3rd place, 2nd top 3 finish, going to put him up to 4th overall. Another solid result. And where's Febvre going to be in the championship? 4th. I know in the factory Yamaha team that they're really pleased with that. Yeah. And it's had a real kind of demoralising effect on the rider at the back of the picture, Jeremy Van Horbeke.
It's the Philipparts effect and the Van Horbeke effect, isn't it? But Van Horbeke different last year because he was the only rider on the team. But Roman Febvre being the young pretender, no pressure at all. The team saying no pressure and doing what Philipparts did in 2008.
Yeah.
Putting himself in a very, very strong position after 4 rounds of the championship.
And then what Stephen Frossard in 2011 did stay with Philipparts.
Yeah. So the teammate effect then.
Yeah.
Because Philipparts got Philipparts at that little game.
There's obviously some sort of confidence factor going on in that Yamaha team. Coming in low expectation, maybe low pressure. Oh, Van Horbeke just getting up. You know, remember last year when he used Evgeny Bobryshev like a Super Mario bouncing platform?
Oh, he goes down!
That was a heavy one, Paul. Right to the face of that wave.
Right in the face and landing on his back as well. And I was about to say, because of his victory in Lockett last year, this hard, slick-natured ground, I would have had Van Hoorbeek challenging for a podium, or it would have been a good place for him to challenge for a podium. Here we go. Backhand loses the front on the wave. Backhand comes around, land dead leg.
Straight in the chest.
Yeah,
crotch as well. But Van Hoorbeek, we saw him crash, what, 2-3 times, all through last season. And now I think he's had that many accidents in the first 4 rounds. Yeah, the first 4 rounds.
Per week, per race.
And he will admit he's never a rider that rides at 100%. He's always just a fraction below, just to avoid that kind of accident. Good luck speaking to him afterwards, by the way.
To who?
Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. I can imagine he's not going to be a happy chap.
That's your job. Let me know how it goes, all right? So 3 laps to go. Max Nagel still 18 seconds clear of Cairoli and Febvre. Has Febvre got anything up his sleeve in the remaining 2.5 laps of this second race? But this guy here has not put a wheel wrong. He pulled that foxhole shot 35 minutes ago, and he is just riding this place like it was time training yesterday. Nice and flat and smooth. He's not had a reaction, has he?
We saw Max Nagel have a good season in 2009 on the factory KTM, finished runner-up to Tony Cairoli. We saw him coming back from that really bad back injury. In 2011, was again fast.
He was relaxed
conditioned to win, yeah, and then moved to the Honda. I would say we haven't seen the German riding this well in his whole Grand Prix career.
Rejuvenated, I think, is the word we could use there.
I think he's above and beyond what he's been. I think he's obviously linked well with that Husqvarna and the team, importantly. And what a fine example of a rider just finding his place.
I think he has said he feels like he is in the best shape of his career. Just needs to stay healthy, doesn't he? And, you know, not doing himself any harm whatsoever. The 2-lap board goes out. As you say, 1 point in it now. De Salle will be on 171. Nagel will be on 170. Nagel on 25 points in this race for what would be a potential race win. Cairoli on 22. Febvre on 20. De Salle on 18. So what was a 10-point lead at the start of the weekend was then pushed back to 5 points after his 3rd place in race 1 for Clément de Salle, because he was just behind Nagel and Cairoli, and then obviously, you know, with his little off-track excursion, lost the front end at the bottom of one of those hills. Clément de Salle all of a sudden finds himself with blood on that left elbow, and as you'd expect, going down where he went down.
And he's going to take over from... no, he's not pressuring Febvre, so one of the Suzuki's at the back of the picture.
Yeah,
there's a huge gap between Febvre and De Salle, actually, so no threat there.
And that gap will be down to 1 point now at the end of this race if it stays like it is, with Nagel, Cairoli, Febvre, De Salle, you top 4. Gauthier Paulin about 5 seconds back of De Salle, so De Salle cannot relax despite any discomfort he might be feeling after going down on it was the left-hander just here now where Tony is, and it does fall away quite significantly there, as you saw the way that he slid into that turn. Bit of speed, bit of momentum. Took a while to get it stopped.
Just looking back down the order, Tommy Searle, first Grand Prix back since injury in 12th place. Dean Ferris down 17th. Xavier Borg, first Grand Prix of the year since his neck injury in France last year. Could see him, but he's down in 19th. Glenn Koldenhoff's still going, been into the pits and back out. He's in 20th. So Sean Simpson moving up to 10th. He was down as far as 16th, 17th a while ago, so he's picked things up, chasing Davide Guarnieri now.
Well, before we came here, Jeffrey Hurlings was the only 2-time winner in MX2. He was denied that today. Won't tell you how or why or who spoiled the party there. But Tony Cairoli, a winner here in 2013, was looking at trying to make it a double race win. But that's not going to happen unless there is a problem with Max Nagel on the final lap. But for sure, the number 12, the German, the Red Bull Ice One Husqvarna factory rider, the first German victory, it will be around here. We've got 2 Netherlands winners, 2 Italians, 2 Americans, a Belgian, an Austrian in Matthias Walkner in MX3 back in 2012. And then Germany, Max Nagel, and it will be the first as well for Husqvarna. Kajiva have won here in the past. Suzuki,
that's going back, isn't
there,
it?
1987, the first Italian victory. Massimo Contini, the first time we came
history
here.
book for that one. I'm impressed. Max Nagel, you know, just some really weird bad luck in the last few years. Stomach infection. You know, another bizarre virus that wiped him out of his home Grand Prix in the Nurses-Ring in that unbearable heat, and then also a broken wrist. You know, while training last year, pretty much scuppered 2014. And you just pray that his luck is going to last, because, well, I mean, Tony Cairoli, he's got riders around him that are a threat. He's not going to be winning every week.
Well, put it this way, Max Nagel, in this kind of form, knows as well that if he can push for the first 10 minutes, he can open up that gap. He is the rabbit, you know, out of the hat, isn't he, when he gets gone? And if he can then sustain that gap, which is what he's done here, you know, 16, 17 seconds, that is the best way to, A, stay out of trouble and potentially, you know, win races, Grand Prix, and further on down the line, too soon to think about it, but championship.
Maybe it's the hair out of the trap you're looking for there.
Is it?
But I think, you know, the rabbit out of the hat's
The
still a
dog out
magic
of the
thing,
garage.
which is what, you know, that's what Nagel's doing. Coming around for another victory, and we go to the sand next week. He's also a very strong sand rider, so Max Nagel in the best shape of his life and best form.
Final turn, checkered flag. It's another race win and another Grand Prix victory for Max Nagel and Red Bull Ice One Husqvarna Factory Racing. 3 Grand Prix victories now. And look at that, how close it was. Cairoli and Fevre, second and third in the race. And of course, Cairoli will have to settle for second overall in the Grand Prix. De Salle, he'll bring it home in 4th place. And that will be good enough for 3rd overall for the Rockstar Energy Suzuki. So Romain Fevre, 461, he'll be pleased with that, but you also saw a little bit of frustration then as he came over the line. He was so yet so far as Cairoli just managed to hang on for second in the end. But again, a very interesting race in MXGP, to say the least. Can't wait to see the highlights of it. So riders over the line then in the first 10. Max Nagel